from Luminosity, certainly on the cards.
Yeah, well, either way, we are going into the 9th round. Of course, this is the map pick of Tectonic, so there is like a few optimistic ways you could look at things. Maybe they don't particularly enjoy Mirage, but I don't really think that's the case, especially when you have 2 bans, both teams, before you have a pick. It's not like you can really say, oh, well, we got rid of our first ban and then they picked the map we don't like. No, it was more along the lines of there are only 3 maps left. There wasn't really too much difference to come in. Either way, it looks like Luminosity should be pretty happy with this one. We've already seen a double op setup coming onto their team, so that should probably carry over quite effectively to Train as well. But, well, they've won the knife. They're going to get that CT side, which can only really add insult to injury, unless, of course, Tectonic can actually maybe win the pistol and get off to a bit of a good running start.
For Tectonic, this is a wound that they sorely need to cauterize, but it's going to be a painful task, and it's going to be a tough one at that. But it comes down to how they choose to play. They are, as you say, pushed on over to that T side, so they certainly don't have the upper hand. But we'd be lying if we said we haven't seen T sides do what some would say would be the impossible untrained before.
Yeah, of course.
On the LG side of things, looking towards their CT side to play the kind of same sort of style we've witnessed before. So it's just this segmented style where they rely on a couple of players to find these early picks in the round, and then from there just launch off into just playmakers, I guess.
Well, yeah, and already the pistol setup's quite an interesting one. A very far back hold coming out from Knack at the moment. Going to use the real advantage of that USP, meaning there is quite a likelihood that if they did go B, the bomb would get planted. So that's that possibility for Tectonic, but it does look like from the positioning of the other T players at the moment that they are going to be making their way over towards A. Smoke going to be thrown out by Zek. This is going to be covering off the Ivy section of the map, and this should allow his teammates to actually push quite aggressively, but there are actually 2 players waiting for them here. Needs to try and open this one up. The flashbang will do its work. Nice work coming out from the 2 Ivy players. Unfortunately, they've already lost everyone else. In the meantime, Phantom going to be finding another one, looking for a little bit more. Still going to be 2 players here, and well, Knack and Destiny trying to tap away. Knack will just go in and find both. And although it looked like it was going pretty well from our perspective on the Ivy side of things, Knack and Destiny just killed everyone else.
Well, that was it, Knack. He found some early frags. Destiny picking up 3 of his own. It's just that lawnmower of Luminosity just going well and truly over the faces of Tectonic. As they are now going to be looking at an LG side, trying to make some bank. It's almost a mirror image of exactly what we witnessed over on that first map. The question is, can they keep things going? Will there be an upsetting factor of Tectonic? Well, the question is certainly there. They are going to be going for the force, of course. These pistols looking to ban out straight towards the B side. Dink will be delivered straight to the face of Knack. So knocked down to just 24 HP. He's going to be falling just well and truly back, playing much more passive now over towards that B site. But already that CT side support, it's going to be there to help him out.
We are already rotating over a couple of players. And this is sort of the problem of delaying this push a little bit. They've now got the M4 and the Scout holding these far longer range jaws. This would be an ideal position to actually switch things over, but with the connector being such a quick rotate, you would likely see Destiny switch straight back. We already know what this guy can do. He's been absolutely phenomenal in the first map. Going to be getting a tag early on. Nice jumping shot comes out from Yell to bring it back much, much closer at least. Bomb should be able to be planted as the Scout manages to grab one more, and Zek, well, at least does his job with the bomb, but that's going to be it for this round.
That's something for Tectonic, though. That's a crumb for them to work with going into that 3rd round, because they've got the bomb, so that'll be almost a supplement when it comes down to their economy. But even then, it's not going to be too pretty of a picture, but it should be enough for them to pick up a round, providing they play things right. That's going to be the key thing, because we'd usually look at this and go, well, this is where they have a really nice chance. But ultimately speaking, it's not going to be too much. So I'm going to be looking towards that buy round to see what they can bring to the table. Of course, just going to be pistols this time around to really solidify that AWP coming up in that 4th round. But for the most part on the LG side of things, they're taking this one in their stride.
Yeah, a few pistols at least. That's basically off the back of that bomb plant, so that will allow them to go for a little bit more. Zek saving up, trying to get himself an AWP. Don't know whether he'll have quite enough to actually do that just yet. Either way, it is going to be still an SMG in the hands of PKL, so he has the potential to make money. The rest of the players have traded up to the M4s after they lost a couple in the last round. We are looking at Yell with the Scout once again. Going to be trying to just tag away with that one, and well, we do see this speed up into a main at the moment. A lot of players over towards A. We have one on Ivy as well, so it does look like the push will be coming in from this direction. This SMG Has to be pretty careful here, especially around that electric box, but already we'll see Destiny finding the first kill. Can't really expect too much from this round, but it's going to be the money making that we're looking towards. So there's already 2. Nice work and, well, very quick kills across the board. The last with the pistol, so will only mean 1,500 added on, but that's still a nice bonus. And now it's looking like we'll see an AWP coming in as well. So pretty nice stuff. Zek can actually get it with Kevlar as well, so that's not too bad for the T side. But this is where we want to see them open things up. Last time they really got around on the board, I think it was at 8-1 or something along those lines, maybe even 9-1. So they need to get it a little bit sooner because it does sort of lead too close to the end of the half. And momentum is just gone by that stage. You know there's so much money on the Luminosity side. And wow, Yale going very aggressive, going to pick up that first frag.
It's going to be just a hugely demotivating factor. Just demolishing Imp. So now we look to see, can they do? Will they better bring things back at all? Wrath going to get, well, actually knocked down by the flash. 2 HP being done. At least he'll get some information to play with. We'll see when he's trying to get himself out towards A. But it's not going to happen. Destiny is there ready and waiting. Bit now going to be holding off towards Ivy. The smoke will pop. Will pop a little bit late, so giving away the information. Wrath will actually find himself a frag, but he gets knocked down to 7 HP. And a quick trade to roll in. Bit to be the man to find it. Knack doing some work of his own. Really just making this work as Zek. Well, he's going to hit the decks, and Phantom going to be the last to find himself heading on over towards his grave. Luminosity there, going to pick up their 4th round on the board. And we didn't really see anything too good from Tectonic. We just saw them giving away easy picks. We saw some huge plays coming out with the AWP very early on. Yale just finding a very aggressive pick over towards B. And Tectonic, that was not really a... That was the default that was just basically said, yeah, we know exactly what you're playing. We're just going to dismantle you piece by piece, and you're going to be left with just nothing to work with at all.
Yeah, and the scary thing is we're not seeing too much difference between the buy rounds and the sort of forced buy rounds where they don't have too much to play with. They are going to go for the smokes onto the A side this time, trying to get themselves as close as possible, but having to sort of run through these counter nades. Nice spray. Destiny will eventually be taken down, but he already has the trade instantly coming in, and it's going to be 1 player dropped from that aggressive push. And I have to say that when you go for those sort of force buy pushes, I do prefer it personally to be over towards the B side. The smoke plays occasionally work, but just the setup from Luminosity is so aggressive that it doesn't really pay off. So it almost seems like a little bit of a lack of knowledge of the positioning of your opponent. Either way, in this round, we do actually see Zek choose to go for nades over armor, so a little bit of a risk taken there. 3 players, as you can see, yet to even frag on the board, and I think the observers sort of a little bit mind blown by this factor.
You know what? I'm inclined to agree with them. What is there to say, Tom? Tectonic, they just aren't really doing anything too special. There is no executes, there is no kind of structure to the way they are playing. When you're facing a team like Luminosity, you're facing a team who have put hours and hours into practicing and getting this to stick and getting a roster that works. You need something more than that. You need something more than just YOLO pushing towards the site, to be blunt.
Well, yeah, we already know that Luminosity are definitely an organization who are good at picking up those talented players, and it seems so far like they've done that again, although it's sort of like weighing up the possibility of the opposition they're against and whether or not they're getting away with some stuff here already. Look how aggressive Yell has gotten. This was something we spoke about in the last map, that if you just let them get away with too much, they're just going to continue to go aggressive and take so much map control. Yell not spotting anybody out over towards the A side will mean that he can rotate away and sort of leave that position completely open. Zek will find one though, and there's Phantom to open things back up. This time trading a little bit better. Impster even changing his name back, which is nice. The bomb will be going down. Still a couple of players to deal with, Knack and Bit, but this is a chance for Tectonic to get on the board a little bit earlier. Knack will manage to grab one. Still has a fair bit of HP and a nice shot to the face of Phantom. And well, this is more of an over-peak scenario for me. I don't think they needed to go this aggressive with these peaks. Jumping down into the Molotov, no armor, going to take even more damage than normal, and he does hit the shot, but the trade is just there, and they push together. I like that from Luminosity. I like teams who do that. They don't just push as an individual. They're so ready for that trade, and the big problem for me there was the fact that everyone on Tectonic individually peaked, and they just allowed Knack the chance to find a head, then fall back, then find another, then fall back and find a third. And it was almost like he was reading their minds and they were doing exactly what he wanted.
Sheer domination, outplaying. Well, I guess it leads us back to what we said at the end of that first map, outclassed. But now still, eyes well and truly going to be on the shoulders of Tectonic. They need to find something in this round. We're already going to be seeing 6 rounds up. But Yell, he's going to come with another pick, takes down Win. Tectonic just left dwindling. And now Destiny looks like he wants to go for a push of his own.
They're going to be waiting. Not going for anything too aggressive just yet. Yell, obviously that surprise factor on the AWP, switching up his position every single time just to make it so difficult. Realize the last time that he did that B push, he pushed up ramp. This time he goes up high and does the same thing. And it's just smart. You don't know where he's going to be, so it adds a scare factor into the map. Last round, in fact, he was all the way over towards Ivy. Now on the opposite side of the map. Almost as far away as he could have been from the position he took this round. And it doesn't seem like the T's are just ready for any of these sort of aggressive pushes. And I think even if they were, there isn't too much they would be able to do about it. It just seems they're on point. And Destiny, well, this is just all about watching your flank. How does no one watch that position that he's able to come up the ladder? You always have someone watching ladder. That's just logical. And unfortunately for Tectonic now, they've got a trade, but it's a 2-for-1 trade. So the CT side are in an even more advantageous position than they were just moments ago.
Not only that, but they have the information. They know that, well, realistically speaking, unless they decide just to try and bombard their way out towards Pop Dog, that's going to be it. Well, they will find one, but the quick trades are all in, and we just need just another round on the board for Luminosity. But here's an interesting point, Tom. Something I wanted to bring up is the fact that a lot of people was, I don't want to say overhyping Luminosity because they are playing very well, and you understand my point in a second. But the name of Luminosity and the fact that it's a huge brand and it was at one point, taking into account their old roster, a worldwide, one of the best team, or the best team in the world, arguably.
Yeah.
These players aren't just good because they're in Luminosity. All of these players were, they're old players, they're new players alike. Some of them were 1.6 legends. Knack, he coached the original Luminosity squad before Zeus came on. So they are all strong players. They all, deserve their own kind of identity in their own right. And we are seeing that really come into form as Yell. He's going to go aggressive once again over towards Ivy and finds a quick pick on towards him.
Yeah, really nice start. Yell, I think, has found the opening frag so many times now. It's actually really scary. Destiny going to grab a second couple, and I don't know what Tectonic can do in this scenario. Even when they gather up as a team, they're taken down individually. The only real good round I could say that they had was when they pushed onto the A site and just let it go in the end because of bad afterplant positions and re-peaking. If they just work that out, then there's a possibility they could take a round. Either way, Wrath will manage to grab one, but already you see Bit repositioning himself ready for this push over towards Ivy. Wrath actually going to grab another one, and now this is falling apart. Phantom managing to open up two, and after all the praise you've given Luminosity, somehow this round is now falling back into the favor. But here's Bit once again looking for these jewels, and he grabs both. Tectonic needed to pick that one together, and unfortunately for them, Bit has just taken this round, thrown it on the floor, and said, you know what, we're going to take it anyway.
Well, that's the huge thing, Luminosity. They're not just the lineup who have this grit to be able to walk over teams. But that moment where you kind of just lost faith, for a small period, you were just like, maybe this could go wrong. Maybe this is a round on the board for Tectonic. It's that moment when they truly kind of get into their own form and walk away with a huge play, because every single player on this lineup has their own kind of intellect and as it's going back to the phrase identity in the way they play. And we're going to see that here. Destiny going for a very aggressive information play, finds the information, finds a frag as well, now just leaving it to PKL to mop things up, and it will be a trade. So Tectonic trying to make the best of things. They're almost left in a bit of a firing range scenario. Him actually going to try and pull this one ahead, but it's going to be another frag coming back into Fader a bit. He's going to be trying to do some damage of his own. Knack going to be dropping the bomb. It's all going to be on him now. The pressure was really on his shoulders.
He almost killed himself. Threw that nade and bounced off the train and took 4 of his 6 HP. I do have to say that some of the plays they're making, I feel that they would not make if they respected their opposition.
Oh, 100%.
That push from Destiny was actually really stupid.
It was really stupid. It was an information play suited to the way Tectonic are playing.
I would, in any other circumstance where they weren't this far up against a team that they're clearly outclassing, I would say that that was a bad play. But he does manage to get a trade, he finds out some information. But at the same time, calm down a little bit. Calm down a little bit. I think that was a bit too much. Either way, they win the round. It does work out in their favor. We are going to see some pistols back in play. Yell finds the first kill of the round, and I feel like I'm saying that way too often. He really is just outclassing his opposition. There will be a trade. Wrath starting to wake up a little bit and gets a second Eagle kill as well. Now we've got Huyn, very low down on the board at the moment, but is going to try and do some damage here. They have got a man advantage, and we do have to remember, in almost the exact same scenario, this was where Luminosity took their foot off the gas for a second, and these pistols managed to win a round on Mirage. Although the ranges here should favor these CT's players by quite a bit. Destiny pushing him from behind, will grab 2. Wrath again there to trade with the triple now. And he's the only one who's fragged for his team in the last few rounds even. So really looking to see whether or not he can actually take this one home. This time they are holding after plant positions.
Phantom going to be looking to do the damage here, but a huge flick from Yell will be the one to do the damage. That smoke now going to be going down on top of the bomb. Wrath, well, he's found himself 3. Can he find 4? The answer is going to be no, and I've got to say, Tommen, well, I'm going to be loading up that shotgun with some shots at this point. But the only player who's playing anything at all in this match for the Tectonic side of things seems to be Wrath, and even then, you've got to do more in a round than just get Deagle frags. They have to do it on buy rounds. They have to use those rifles, because Deagle frags, they won't win you rounds, and it's just been proven right there.
Yeah, it's a shame, because if they sort of stepped up at once, then they would have an opportunity to at least put up a fight. Like, Impster had some moments in the last game where he was sort of talking about the idea of them having a chance to win. We've seen Phantom get a couple of kills along the way, but it's all been in different rounds where the individuals have stepped up, and it doesn't seem like they have the sort of team play to go, okay, well, when this guy's found 2 kills, then from then on out, they trade, or they just play together as a team. It's more, oh, he's found 2 kills, now I'm going to run in and die, and it's not really, well, scripted, it's not really smart. It's more along the lines of, okay, we've just got to out-frag them, and that's not going to happen. These Brazilians, we can already see, are very, very good individually. Like, they're very, very good, and for the first time in a long, long time, it's actually going to be PKL finding the first frag and not Yell, which doesn't really help, but at least it's a change.
Certainly true. Maybe they can find something in this round as they're going to be tiptoeing over towards B with that bomb. But they seem nervous. They seem to be showing cracks, kind of in the way they are already playing this round, the 11th round like that. It's 10 rounds on the board for Luminosity, really no question about how this one has unfolded. But will Tectonic finally better pick up a round? The smoke will be going down, the Molotov going to be there just to burn them away, and at that point you're seeing them decide, you know what, we're not going to go for the push. We're just going to slow things right down, play right into the hands of Luminosity. They're just going to be moulding Tectonic in the way they want to play, and PKL, well, there's not much to say. He's just going to stop them right in their tracks over towards Ivy. The fake has been sold. Win. He will go for the peek with the AWP. Finds himself a frag. Now PKL, he's on top of Train. The minute they push him around any further, Win will hit the deck, and well, as predicted, that will take place. And PKL, he's looking for that ace. Him's the last player for him to find. It's just going to be free firing that Train. Looking for a frag of his own. Goes to the frag, and PKL will pick it up. So not only are we seeing a huge Brazilian side, but now we've seen, perhaps even a little bit late, the first ace on the board for Luminosity.
I just don't even know. I have no idea how he managed to peek Ivy against 2 players and find 2 kills. That just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when the first player he aimed at didn't have the AWP. So it should have been a really, really easy frag coming in on the board for the AWPer. Didn't happen. Then he actually just manages to maneuver himself around the trains and even missing jumps and giving away so many sound cues, but just finds everything, just easy sprays. I just think that at the moment, well, it wouldn't even matter if he didn't do that. An entry will come in for Phantom, though. A lot of damage being done. Oh, we're going to manage a few kills along the way, but Yell now going to trade things back as everything just falls apart. We're looking at a dominating game at the moment, and, well, still sort of looking for silver lining. And it's very, very difficult to find it. Like, even in the close round scenarios where you're saying, okay, maybe this can go their way, they then throw it away. They make a mistake. They're in a 2v1. They don't peek together, hand in individual kills, and it's just, I think it's more a practice thing and a setup thing. But the real problem is, even just winning the knife round in the last couple of maps could have made a difference, because each time they started on the weaker side, everything's got so far out of control. They've not managed to win the pistol, and it's just looking so bleak at this stage. They will manage to find a trade, though. Phantom in his individual duel would pick up a frag, but now they've got to try and work off it. The bomb should be able to go down, although did Win just not react?
Just holding the angle, decides not to go for the shot. Wrath will try and find the trade. The bomb will go down. Phantom going to find one of his own. It's going to be back to that 2 versus 2. Destiny and Yell, this dynamic duo who have played so strong, looking to close out the 13th round of the board. And Destiny, he finds the first shot, looks at a second, goes to the flick, will get taken down. So it's going to be perhaps our first 1 versus 1, where Tectonic could clutch this one out. It's all going to be on Yell. He's got that rifle in hand. He's just creeping around the corner, playing the patience game, but finally, woo! A round on the board for the Tectonic side. And, well, I'm not sure if a cheer is even meritable in that scenario, because I've got to say, my faith is non-existent. I might as well just go and sit in a corner and just kind of...
I have seen a Method versus Gambit, where Gambit were 14-1 up and Method 1 on the CT side. I am believing that Luminosity will probably just win the next round and close out this game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the only case. I think what we're seeing is 2 different tiers of teams. Tectonic, it's unfortunate for them. They have a lot to learn. Kind of no hate towards them, but they need more experience, they need more practice, and they need refined setups. Taking a look into this round, it will be some quick frags on the board. And I was about to say quick trades. But as you can see, it's not been quick trade. Suddenly, Luminosity have just pulled a 4K out of nowhere. In Tectonic, they're left with just one man standing. It's going to be Quinn with a Tech 9, and, well, there's not anything really to say. What I do want to say is that Luminosity, yes, they're playing really well, and they're playing a really solid style CS. They've got some insane aim. The key question for me is, I want to see them up against a team that are of an equal matching. I want to see them up against a really strong team, so maybe a Hellraisers or a Slight or a Godsend
maybe not so much. Well, you're naming a lot of European teams, so maybe not. We won't see that unless they get through to the LAN, of course. But
dreams alive.
In terms of the sort of American side of things, it's more than guaranteed, or almost guaranteed, that they'll be getting their way through to the next bit, unless they do lose a game against one of the remaining teams. So I don't think. Also, their round difference, even if everybody did get to 6, is going to be ridiculous, because the first team they played forfeit, and then the second game they've absolutely dominated, or their map wins, I should say.
I have had a thought. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, you know the ins and outs of the format and which teams are kind of in and out. But we're kind of on the fence on whether we're actually going to be seeing that original SK lineup competing at the LAN because of the operation.
No.
So we're not going to be seeing that.
No.
So that makes me lean towards, as a Counter-Strike fan alone, I want to see a Brazilian team at the LAN.
Yeah, well, there's a big
if there was a team that looked like they had the performance to pull it off.
Yeah, also Immortals are in that qualifier as well,
so
towards the end. So definitely the chance that they'll be making their way through a very, very good team. Big fan of the Immortals side of things, and they even have a little bit of SK blood in with them now, with the coach from SK moving his way over. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I realise we're sort of just talking about theoreticals here, because in terms of theoreticals, in terms of the match, there really isn't that much to talk about. The buy is terrible. Zek actually has a Glock and armor, which I don't think I've ever seen that buy before. And there's a very good reason. That's because the Glock is probably the worst gun in the whole game, especially against armor. I don't know, maybe if you get 17 shots, but Win will manage to bring it back to a 4 versus 4. Still got 4 players to find, and it's not looking too promising at this point. Phantom will manage to grab one. Destiny going to go pushing through the smoke, and, well, just sheer confidence at this stage. Will wait for the bomb to be planted and just cleans up the last 2 kills. Not really sure why he didn't let go of the bomb, because it wasn't really, well, didn't need the money. But yeah, 14-1, sort of very similar scenario to the last game.
Similar? Almost feels identical.
Yeah, they got their 1 round a little bit earlier, though. Zek, the AWPer for the team, only on 2 kills at the moment, and, well, that's sort of a problematic scenario. I have to talk about, even though it's like Destiny at the top of the game, I've really enjoyed Yell in this one. Like, it's so aggressive with the AWPs, always very good in the sort of late round. Like, you look at the closer rounds, Yell was always the one sort of making those important frags and bringing things back. PKL with the ace was really nice, but again, it's basically going to get to the point where I'm just naming every single person. And on the other side of things, Phantom and Wrath have had their moments. The 1 round that they won was completely off the back of Phantom getting a quad kill, so got to give him a little bit of credit. But at the same time, it's very difficult to give someone credit when, yeah, individually he might have done something, but as a team they really haven't had anything that we can talk about. It really has just been like 1 or 2 players going off in a round. Yeah, they may have thrown some smokes, but were they actually well positioned? And in terms of how close and aggressive the Luminosity side were able to play, where's the punish? Either way into the pistol, we're looking to see if they can do what they did last time and get themselves the pistol at least. Aggressive push coming out from Luminosity, which is exactly what I like to see when you've taken over this B site. Sitting passive does not work, and, well, this is how you do it. That's exactly how you take that pistol round. You get the bomb down with no casualties. You go very aggressive, close all the angles, and make things nigh on impossible for the remaining players. And just look at this buy that's coming on the Tectonic side. We have a Nova, so obviously that means they're going to win the round. And just some pistols with a little bit of armor. Not really anything to rave about.
I'm a fan of the confidence in the shotgun. I know I'm always astounded by your confidence in terms of the unique weapons in the game.
You're just a hater.
But I think at this point, even the belief in the Nova has to be non-existent. It's just going to be...
Why did you have to crush my dreams?
Backwards and forwards. The Nova is gone. Well, it's going to be some quick frags. Not much to say apart from Hannum. He's going to be spamming away. But I'm sorry, it's not going to be today, Tom. It's going to be a 16-1 victory, meaning that it's going to be the end of our series. A 2-0. Smooth, is that more appropriate time to use the phrase smooth now?
Yeah, that was pretty smooth. I think easy peasy lemon squeezy is probably the
easy
phrase
for Brazil
that I would go for. Yeah, I have nothing.
I do want to
really
say,
don't have anything.
for the
That was
Tectonic
just sheer
side,
dominance.
we've been very much kind of talking about the fact that
We've been
Brazil,
haters.
they're a strong team, and
Yeah.
you know, we've talked about a lot about the positives of Brazil doing well in that matchup. Let's talk about the positives of the way Tectonic are. Albeit they found basically 2 rounds.
Well, they have a couple of players that can explode onto positions. That was
We didn't really see that,
one
but-
thing. Well, the one round that they won, we saw a couple of 3Ks. Aim was there sometimes. The main thing for them is when you do lose a map like that, you can learn a lot in other terms. Like, for starters, if you lose that heavily, you can look at what the other team did and go, hey, I like that idea. Let's try that. It can also be a sort of kick in the face, but you learn from it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, basically, they would say along the lines of, okay, we got destroyed. Clearly, we need to do a lot of work. Or clearly, we need to change a player. Or we need to set up smokes, learn this, learn that. And that's always a big, big factor. Learning in Counter-Strike, you should never stop learning.
Well, the beautiful thing about learning is I think the Games Academy stuff, I don't know if you checked that out. That from a Brazilian perspective, you know, we've got a Brazilian team here. That's a huge
from
thing.
any perspective, is pretty good.
Well, it's pretty good, but it's nice to see it from a
Yeah,
region
of
such
course.
as Brazil.
Well, if you're going to learn from anyone, I think Fallen having all those videos is probably, well, the in-game leader of the best team in the world is probably someone you want to have a little bit of education from.
An interesting topic there, talking about players such as Fallen, is the fact that taking a look at this team, we had, of course, a player that was formerly the original coach for the original Luminosity lineup. And also, we mentioned Immortal, in a kind of brief passing. Well, now they're picking up Luminosity's coach, Zeus, who's now joined that lineup.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I'm hoping that we will see Immortal, well, we will see them later in the tournament, but I'm hoping we'll see them do well. Either way, that is it for tonight. We will be back tomorrow with some more Counter-Strike. We may even see Luminosity again. I'm not quite sure. We definitely have a couple more matches to show in this group, and then we will be moving on to the more exciting stages. Either way, thank you very much for watching. That has been it from us. My name is TomBiz14. This is Flakes, and we will see you tomorrow.